Matt, obviously it hasn't necessarily come in the way you've wanted with some injuries to some of your teammates, but you've gotten on the field quite a bit more lately. Has that helped you kind of find a groove a little bit and get into your game a little bit easier than you were when you were kind of in and out of the lineup earlier?
Yeah, I think playing regularly is something that we all strive for. I think it helps you be in a rhythm and find that consistency, which we're all after. So.
You've mentioned in the past that you're comfortable playing multiple positions, and you have continued to play multiple positions on the left, the right. You played even up top a little bit. What allows you to be that versatile? What in your game lets you kind of play those multiple roles and be comfortable doing all of them?
I think growing up playing in the center of the field, I've always prided myself on kind of knowing everybody's role and trying to have an understanding of what everyone's supposed to be doing and where they're supposed to be at any time, which I think helps me, transition to a different position a little bit more smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, it hasn't been a great run of form for you guys. What do you feel like you guys need to do to kind of break out of that and kind of get back on the winning side that you had been on for so long before this?
Yeah, I think it's important that we don't panic, that we get back to some of the things that made us successful earlier in the year. We've had a great week of training, and I think we're very prepared for the weekend.
Mm-hmm. What is the opportunity going up against the team that's at the top of the table in terms of, maybe having a chance to knock them down, or also in terms of, does it make it more difficult to know that this isn't going to be somebody that we can just go out and pick up points against either?
I think in some ways it takes a little bit of pressure off of us to go away from home and play against the team that's at the top of the table. We can play a little bit more freely and, take chances that, maybe we wouldn't have taken if we're not playing the team at the top of the table.
You've missed the last couple games, got a little banged up in the Ottawa game. How's it been to kind of see your team out there, maybe struggling at times, and knowing that you're laid up a little bit and can't be out there kind of helping change the tide a little bit?
I think individually it can be frustrating
Mm-hmm.
because there's only so much you have control over. But at the same time, I think in everyone's career, it's good moments for growth. Whether the team's struggling or the individuals on the field are struggling, there's always positive to take from it. And if guys are willing to learn and grow, then that's key assets to furthering their future and careers and maturing. So there's always positive to take out of it, as frustrating as it is for myself, but I think there's a lot of good that came of it.
How are you able to execute like some of the duties of a captain and being a leader on the team when you can't be out on the field? Is there a way, do you coach from the sideline? Do you kind of, help the guys schematically or something like that? What kind of do you do when you can't actually be out there?
I think we all have our strengths, captains included. So I got to be close with Gary. I got to make sure I'm good with the boys. For myself, I'm real personal with the players, making sure they're up. If they're down, what can I do to help them out? A lot of it's off the field. On the field, obviously, the frustrations are going to occur, but I don't tell players how to play. That's for them to decide.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll do everything I can to make sure they're motivated, to make sure they're enthusiastic and passionate about what they're doing. Because happy person, happy player, right? Better
Mm-hmm.
player. So my job is multifunctional, and there's a lot that's asked. But I think the guys have proven that they follow, they're willing to listen and learn, and that's all I can ask for.
How do you motivate, when you can't lead by example? Is it just very vocal? Is that kind of the shift that takes place a little bit?
Soccer's a very intimate sport.
Mm-hmm.
As much as you want to say, it's not like the regular job where you go to an office and you work in a cubicle. Soccer is very intimate with the tackles, with the passion, with the yelling, with the arguing, with the positivity on the field, off the field. You're with a guy in a gym after you just finished yelling at him. It's very intimate. So in doing so, I think communication is huge. That's really it.
Since you haven't been out there, Bolu, Matt have both gotten quite a bit of chance to kind of maybe not necessarily take the spotlight, but get a little bit more consistent playing time next to each other. What have you seen out of those guys? Have they grown into that role a little bit since you've been out?
It's different for each game, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Each game presents something different with whatever the team's throwing at us, and they're asked to do different things. Both of them are very versatile and utility-like players, so I'm happy that they've been doing well for the team. As much as people say the results have been poor, like I said, it's a growth experience for everyone. So guys who haven't been getting the areas that they want to play positionally have been doing very well to get comfortable, and I'm happy for them, and that's how it should be. And I think they've taken full advantage of their opportunity and chances in there and can continually grow as players.
You're not necessarily primarily defensive, but you're kind of a box-to-box guy. How frustrating is it for you when the team is struggling to score to know, maybe we're better than this. We have to be able to put the ball into the back of the net a little bit. And how do you break out of kind of a little scoring slump?
It's the hardest thing to do is to score. Some teams make it look easier than others, but we are a very disciplined team. That's the foundation of our team. As much as guys want to go forward, we all have things that we have to do in the team to make sure we're successful. So I think we get back to the fundamentals, and then some things will come in eventually. But it's not an easy task to score, and you ask a lot of the guys whenever you say, hey, you got to beat 2, 3, 4 guys. That's not the case. We got to get back to the fundamentals of being a team and being the best we can be in total. So it can be frustrating and daunting, but that's the game. That's part of the whole intimacy with the players, is getting to know what they're about and the struggles and the times, and that's what life is. So yeah.
Did you take any lessons from the first game against Cincinnati that kind of you can apply to this one and maybe have a better shot to come away with all 3 points instead of just the one from last time?
I'm sure. Just like guys on the team, you kind of get to know the other team, and you get to know the other players, their system, their styles, things like that, whether or not they're going to play the same way. I mean, you don't really know until you're on the field, until it's game day and the game's live. Tendencies of players, that's if players are willing to watch video, which they are, and I think there's plenty we can take away from the first game, but you can't look too much into it, because what if they change? So it's a very adaptable game, changing all the time, and hopefully we're ready for it.